49 days to the World Cup, and the big question is this Bafana squad better than the 2010, or are we overhyping it? Hello, football edits. Welcome back to Let's Talk Football. My name is Tato Soteti, otherwise known as TT, the former attacking midfielder of Hellenic and Abakulusi African Wanderers. With the World Cup fast approaching, and it is only right that we start talking about Bafana and maybe once or twice a week. We've got 49 days to the World Cup. Now, the former Bafana coach Peter Musimani did an interview last night with Oprah Robert Marawa, and he was asked a very interesting question. And the question was, what are the similarities and the differences between the 2010 squad and the current 2026 squad? Now, one key thing he said that stood out for me, he made it clear, in fact, that it's actually unfair to compare these squads directly with the current Hugo Bros coach. He said he doesn't have the inside of information that much, but he said something very important. He said the results under Hugo Bros are very good, and he's taken South Africa to the World Cup and also to the AFCON back to back. And according to Upito Musimani, Bruce has arguably done better than most coaches since the days of Clive Barker. Now, that's a very big statement. Let's be honest, Bafana has gone through many coaches over the years. We've had Philippe Troze, and we all know what happened. I just felt that guy betrayed us. 1998 World Cup. Then we had Ujomo Sono, who stepped in during tough period. You know, I felt that was the man that was supposed to take Bafana, considering that he coached 6 months back in the AFCON. Carlos involved in the qualification phase for the 2021-2022 World Cup. And yeah, so the debate is also, we can't forget the Brazilians, Carlos Alberto Pereira and João Santana. And yeah, so the debate always comes around the fact that Hugo Bros, I don't know if maybe it's the World Cup thing. I don't know. Excuse me. It's just that I have so many thoughts in my mind, and I just feel that Hugo Bros is one of the coaches that has been unfairly treated, and we'll get to that part later. And it has always come back, especially when the results are not going our way, you know. So the debate is, which era is better? Is this era better, or the era that was crowned 1996 champions? But look, when you're playing home, it's much different, you know. At that time, I don't think that there was pressure. One will say 2013 we played at home, we failed to win. Now let's look at or talk about Hugo Bros. Every time Bafana loses a game, the criticism come back, and people will question his selection. They will question his tactics, which is normal in terms of tactics, and whether he's the right man for the job. But is that fair? Let's be honest, because let's not forget what happened during World Cup qualification 2022. That controversial game against Ghana. Many people, and I also believe that Bafana was robbed. You can go back and watch that dubious penalty for Ghana. Now compare that to where we are now. We've qualified for EFCON. We've back to back. We've qualified for a World Cup. Was close in 2022. More structure is there. It's more consistent in terms of the play and the selection. You know what to expect. So the question is, are we judging Hugo Bros fairly, or are we still stuck in the past? Comparing the 2010 versus 2026 squad. Now, let's get into the real debate here. 2010 squad playing at home. They didn't have much of competitive games before the World Cup. Besides that, it was the Confederation Cup, which was a year before. Big names in the squad, big expectations. You had players that were playing overseas at that time, even though most of the players were local based players, but did not go past the group stages, you know. Even had said so, we took what, 4 points, which is similar points that we collected in the 2002 Korean Japan World Cup. But the 2026 squad, you look at it, it's more discipline, better structure, a strong team unity, and most importantly, the results. And these players are players that are competing at the highest level in Africa. It's not the same in terms of competing with the players that are competing in the biggest leagues in the world, but at least there's a structure. But what I will say is this: the current Bafana team looks more like a team than just a group of talented individuals. 2010 was just talented individuals. I think that the pressure was just too much, and that's something we haven't always had. Players that are competing at the highest level and they are used to that pressure. I think Uteko Mdiso did mention that in a couple of interviews, that the pressure was just something that they've never experienced. Now here's where things get interesting. A lot of criticism around Hugo Bros doesn't just come from results, to be quite honest. It comes from decisions like squad selection, and players moves. We know what happened in Galea interview he did about Umbogazi. People were just didn't want to hear anything about Ubros. And where the debate starts is who should be in the squad, or who shouldn't. And the national team coach will always get that. And whether certain players are being overlooked, and what keeps this player coming or being called Ganingi. And for me now, I just want to hear from you. Do you think that Hugo Bros is being treated unfairly? Let me know in the comment section. Or do you think that he's being judged the same way that any national team coach will be judged? Is this current Bafana squad better than the 2010 World Cup players? Or is Hugo Bros the right man to coach Bafana going to the World Cup? But personally, I know that there were people that wanted him out, but like what Ghana did now, which didn't make sense. For me personally, I think that let's honor the man's contract. I mean, he's taken us to the World Cup. Let's see. We don't want to do the same thing that Safa did to Carlos Carlos. Carlos Carlos took Bafana from 2002 up until 2021. I think a couple of months before the World Cup, they fired him. They brought Uchomoson, which was not fair. Or are we still missing something? Let's have the honest football conversation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and you are more than welcome to engage. See you on the next one. Thank you.